Movie theaters are dying, and they also seem to be taking the superhero movie genre with them. Take a look at a few years back. Superhero movies were absolutely dominating the movie theaters worldwide, with them staying there for months and months. Now, superhero movies mostly flop and then get pulled out of movie theaters almost immediately after their release. And this is where we encounter the big superhero genre killer, streaming services. Welcome to Heroscope. Today, we're going to be diving into how the streaming services are slowly killing the superhero genre and what the superhero genre can do to fight back. So, grab your popcorn and enjoy the ride. Streaming services started playing a prominent role for superhero movies somewhere after in 2020, as that's around the time the first MCU TV show started dropping on Disney+. Plus, what certainly didn't help was the fact that movie theaters were, well, closed at the time due to a certain global event that made everyone stay inside. In fact, it was exactly this staying inside that led to such a massive jump in popularity of streaming services. Since so many people were using them, even people who were hesitant to use them before were on them now, trying to find something to watch and something to do. Then, after people could go outside again, many were now hesitant to return to movie theaters so quickly. And in fact, some people didn't want to return at all, preferring to wait for a movie to drop to a streaming service, and then watch it from the comfort of their own home. This was a huge hit for superhero movies. Why? Well, take a look at the most obvious examples: Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. These were amazing movies, of course, but even more so than that, they were amazing experiences. You go to the movies with a bunch of friends, you get popcorn, and wait in line, knowing full well that you're about to witness a visual spectacle that features all of your favorite characters, and you know you're going to be entertained. This was a massive part of the reason why anyone even went to watch superhero movies in the first place. Just take a look at any theater reaction to any MCU movie pre-2020, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. If you didn't go to see the new blockbuster superhero movie, you were practically missing out. And, on top of that, if you were to miss its theatrical run, it was going to be months and months of waiting till you were able to watch it at home. Then, 2020 came and went, and all of these standards got flipped upside down. The movie watching world and the superhero genre was about to change forever. Movie theaters immediately felt this change, and saw that, post-2020, it was going to be a long and painful road to get people back in seats watching movies in the theater. And just like that, with less people watching, less money was coming in, leading many movie theaters to boost their ticket prices by a massive amount, which in turn made even less people want to go to the movies. The people who did go only went if they 1000% knew that what they were going to watch would be worth the high ticket price, which means that if a movie wasn't able to generate enough hype or garner praise in the very beginning, people simply weren't going to show up. The biggest break came when DC decided to release a few movies both in theaters and on streaming platforms at the exact same time. This was a horrible idea, since what ended up happening was, people formed an idea that would be very difficult to remove, which was, why would I go and waste money on a movie ticket if it's going to be on the streaming service I already pay for anyways? And just like that, irreparable damage was done to the superhero genre, since people didn't really care to watch the movies in theaters as they weren't even a global cinematic experience anymore. Instead, they had started to feel like chores. And it most certainly didn't help that the MCU, for example, felt very lost after Endgame, and meandered a lot in search of the path in which they would continue. And that DC movies were pretty much looking for their own path, and relatively unsuccessfully so, since the beginning of the DCEU. And this is where we get to another massive problem. Streaming services have, in yet another way, been an indirect catalyst to the demise of superhero movies. How, you may ask? Well, it's simple. When companies started mass-producing TV shows, that, on top of being mediocre, felt super cheap, even though reports were everywhere about them having budgets that were in the hundreds of millions. People gradually stopped caring, and all of these TV shows were canon to the main timeline. So, if you wanted to be up to date with all the characters before the next cinematic release, you would have to battle your way through a bunch of pretty mid TV shows on the streaming platforms. So, instead of everyone battling through the shows and going to see the movie, or going to see the movie anyways despite not watching the shows, the people started doing something the companies didn't expect. They stopped showing up to the movies. The Marvels, Ant-Man 3, Shang-Chi, and let's not even mention The Flash, Aquaman 2, or Shazam 2, they all made so much less than expected, and both Marvel and DC figured out that people were simply not going to the movie theaters to watch mediocre movies, when they could just wait a little while and watch them at home, practically for free. And just like that, a vicious cycle was formed, where people started going to the movies less and less, given the fact that they would just watch the movies at home, and therefore due to the fact that no one was going to the theaters, the studios would cut the theatrical run of the movie short and let it hit digital much sooner than expected, thus making even less people go to watch the next movie, due to it being available even sooner on the streaming services. So, both Marvel and DC were starting to catch on to what the problems were, and began turning a new leaf. Both studios have started with a major shift in strategy, using streaming not as a dumping ground for endless content, but as a support tool for the theatrical releases. Instead of churning out rushed, low-effort shows and movies every once in a while, the new plan is to focus on quality over quantity, scaling back to just a few high-quality theatrical films per year, with the occasional well-produced streaming project to expand the universe only when it makes sense. By doing this, they could bring back the excitement and anticipation that superhero movies once had, and by treating superhero films like the massive cultural events they used to be, rather than just another piece of content to scroll past, Marvel and DC might just be able to revive the genre and get the audience's focus back on theaters. So, is the superhero genre doomed forever? Not quite, but it is at a turning point. With the right choices, the studios can rebuild what made these movies special in the first place, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get that magic back. The kind that made us cheer in crowded theaters, dress up for premieres, and enjoy a superhero spectacle. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Heroscope, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more deep dives into your favorite characters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.